They won't see you coming. They won't understand how you rose, but they'll feel your presence like gravity, because while they were chasing validation, you were crafting power in silence. This world doesn't reward goodness. It rewards strategy, and strategy begins when emotion ends. You must become deliberate, cold, purposeful. Every move you make a step toward dominance. Every silence a weapon sharper than words. This is not about fitting in. It's about standing alone, unshaken. Focus on your growth until success has no choice but to kneel. Comment, I command my evolution. If you're ready to begin, welcome to Machiavellian mode. Number 1. The art of silent power. Power is never announced. It is felt. The loud crave attention because they lack it. The silent command it because they've earned it. The world mistakes noise for strength, but the wise understand that true power moves beneath the surface, unseen, unspoken, unstoppable. You must master the discipline of restraint. Control your tongue, your expressions, your impulses. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you build an empire within yourself. The powerful do not chase validation. They make others crave their approval. Watch, learn, and calculate. While they reveal their weaknesses through endless talk, you accumulate knowledge, patience, and precision. Understand this. Your silence unsettles the insecure and fascinates the ambitious. It forces others to question, to wonder, to respect. Let your presence speak where your words are unnecessary. In silence, you become unpredictable, and the unpredictable are untouchable. Comment, I am the storm behind the silence. Number 2. Mastering control over emotion. Emotion is the leash that tames men. The moment you react, you surrender control. The moment you lose composure, you reveal weakness. Power is not about domination of others first. It begins with domination of self. To rise in this world, you must dissect your emotions. Like a surgeon, study them, understand them, but never let them command you. Anger, fear, jealousy, these are signals, not shackles. The Machiavellian mind converts emotion into calculation. When others rage, you observe. When others panic, you plan. When others envy, you adapt. The world belongs to the man who can remain unshaken in chaos. Stoicism is not suppression, it's transformation. You must learn to channel fire into focus, to appear calm. When storms rage inside you is to possess godlike control. People will test you, provoke you, and bait you into revealing your hand. Don't. Each reaction they fail to get becomes a silent humiliation to them and a victory for you. A king never argues. He commands through presence. When they scream, you whisper, and that whisper echoes longer than their noise. The calmest man in the room is the most dangerous because he has already conquered what others are still enslaved by emotion. Control it and you become untouchable. Lose it and you become prey in a world of hunters. Remember, the battlefield is not always physical. Most wars are psychological. If they can't shake your mind, they can't break your strategy. Maintain composure when everything burns. That is when true power begins. When your heart stays still while the world trembles, practice emotional distance until it becomes instinct. You are not your feelings. You are their commander, and the man who commands his emotions commands his fate. Comment, my calm is my weapon. My silence is my shield. Number 3. The psychology of detachment. Detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. To detach is to rise above the chaos that consumes. Ordinary men. Most people are slaves to outcomes. Their happiness depends on things they can't control. Their worth tied to the opinions of the weak. You must sever that chain. The Machiavellian mind learns to observe life as a strategist, not a sentimental fool. When you detach, you see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. Emotion clouds judgment. Attachment blinds perception. Detachment grants precision. It allows you to walk away from anything or anyone without hesitation if it threatens your mission. The man who can walk away from everything owns himself completely. Detachment is not the absence of care. It's the mastery of priority. You must care selectively. Care for what builds your empire. Ignore what feeds your ego. People will call you cold, heartless, ruthless, and they'll be right. Because in a world that glorifies weakness, strength will always be misunderstood. Detachment gives you the advantage no enemy can touch. Freedom. Freedom from expectation, from emotional manipulation, from the need to be liked. The detached man cannot be controlled because he controls what he allows to touch his mind. When you detach, you become untouchable. Not because you feel nothing, but because nothing has the power to enslave you. Learn to watch chaos unfold without flinching. Let others drown in their emotions while you calculate your next move. You will realize that peace is not found in control of the world, but in control of your response to it. Detachment is the crown of power, and only those who can bear its weight can rule without fear. Remember, power belongs to those who can walk away without turning back. Comment: I am free because nothing owns me. Number 4, turning pain into power. Pain is not your enemy. It is your forge. Every scar, every betrayal, every loss is a blade sharpening your soul. Weak men run from pain because they believe it destroys them. The strong man understands it refines him. Pain exposes what is fragile within you and forces you to rebuild it in steel. The Machiavellian mind does not pity itself. It studies its wounds. It dissects the suffering until it extracts wisdom. You must stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What does this teach me?" Pain is life's most brutal but honest mentor. It strips illusions, burns weakness, and reveals truth. Every empire is built on struggle. Every leader baptized in fire. If you can endure pain without breaking, you rise. If you can transform pain into strategy, you dominate. Remember, those who have never suffered deeply can never think deeply. Your pain is your advantage. It gives you insight others can't imagine. They avoid discomfort. You embrace it. They retreat from difficulty. You adapt within it. Pain creates emotional endurance, and endurance creates psychological superiority. That's why the world bows to those who have suffered in silence, because they cannot be shaken by ordinary storms. You must learn to smile in discomfort, to breathe through agony, to thank the hardship for sculpting your discipline. Every time you rise from pain, you grow colder, wiser, more deliberate. You stop reacting emotionally and start acting with precision. The man who fears pain will always kneel to it. The man who uses pain will always reign above it. Life will test you with heartbreak, loss, rejection, betrayal. But each one is an invitation to evolve. Never waste pain by drowning in it. Weaponize it. Let it remind you that you're still alive, still fighting, still becoming. Power does not come from comfort. It's born from endurance. The longer you can stand in the fire without flinching, the more indestructible you become. Pain is proof that you are transforming, and transformation is the foundation of greatness. So don't resist it. Absorb it. Own it. Transcend it. Comment: my pain builds my empire. Number 5. The calculated mind of strategy. Strategy is the language of power, the architecture of dominance, and the code that separates kings from the common. Most men drift through life reacting. The Machiavellian man designs. Every move, every silence, every alliance must serve purpose. Strategy is not deception for its own sake. It's the deliberate orchestration of outcomes. To live strategically is to understand that the world is not random. It's ruled by those who prepare for the chaos others complain about. You must study people as if they were pieces on a chessboard. Observe their motivations, their fears, their desires, and use that understanding to predict their moves before they act. Never reveal what you want. Let others believe your interests align with theirs until the moment they no longer do. That is how power consolidates quietly, invisibly, without resistance. The strategic man knows that emotions cloud judgment, so he keeps his logic clean and his ego starved. He never reacts. He responds with timing sharper than a blade. He waits, plans, and strikes when the odds are absolute. Every victory is won long before the battle begins. In thought, in patience, in silence. Strategy requires distance. You cannot make clear decisions when you're emotionally entangled. Step back, analyze the entire field, and anticipate. 10 moves ahead. The weak want instant gratification. The powerful build inevitability. You must think in layers. Short-term moves, mid-term influence, long-term legacy. Every decision should ripple forward, feeding your future dominance. When you understand cause and consequence, you hold the strings of destiny itself. But strategy isn't only about attack. It's about restraint. The most dangerous man is the one who knows when not to move. He lets others burn their energy, expose their vulnerabilities, and drain their focus, while he watches, collects, and positions. Remember, chaos is predictable if you create it. Let others think they're in control while you design the environment they play in. Appear harmless until your moment demands revelation. Appear agreeable until your silence becomes threat. Strategy is the art of invisible war. No noise, no warning, only results. To think strategically is to live beyond impulse and emotion. To build outcomes through intellect and manipulation, not luck. When you master this mindset, you stop being part of the game. You become the game itself. Comment: I move with strategy, not emotion. Number 6, the law of perception and influence. Power does not exist in reality. It exists in perception. The world doesn't see truth. It sees what it's told to see, what it's led to believe, and what it's manipulated to feel. The Machiavellian understands this better than anyone. Reality is negotiable, but perception is absolute. Influence is not about control of others' bodies. It's about control of their minds. Every empire, every leader, every movement rose not through brute force, but through the mastery of appearance. You must understand, people don't follow power, they follow the illusion of power. If they believe you're untouchable, you are. If they believe you're dominant, you become so. Image creates gravity, and gravity bends the world around you. The strong man doesn't shout about his strength. He lets others whisper it for him. Appear calm when you're angry. Appear certain when you're unsure. Appear unbothered when chaos surrounds you. The perception of stability creates real stability. Never underestimate the value of controlled image. It's the foundation of all influence. Learn to manipulate what people see, not through lies, but through calculated truths. You don't have to say everything. You only have to show enough to make them imagine the rest. Let mystery work as your silent ally. The unknown terrifies, fascinates, and controls far more than explanation ever could. People crave clarity, and your ambiguity becomes their obsession. The less you reveal, the more they project. And projection is power because what they assume becomes their reality. The masses don't need facts, they need symbols. Become one. Craft an identity that speaks before you do. Dress with intention, speak with precision, and move with authority. Everything about you must signal control. From your posture to your pauses, from your gaze to your words. The world reads confidence before it hears competence. This is why those who seem powerful often become powerful. Belief precedes reality. Influence flows to those who look like they already possess it. You must learn the subtle art of psychological theater to shape how people feel in your presence. Make them feel small and they'll seek validation. Make them feel understood and they'll follow you. Make them feel dependent and they'll defend you. Influence is not about domination. It's about orchestration. You set the tone and others unconsciously adjust to it. Most people are governed by emotion. Make them feel and they'll obey logic that isn't their own. Compliments can disarm faster than confrontation. Silence can intimidate more than anger. The game of influence is about contrast. Give them warmth when they expect coldness, indifference when they crave attention, and attention when they've given up hope. Keep them guessing. Predictability breeds contempt. Mystery breeds obsession. When people can't define you, they can't defend against you. Control what enters their perception, whether it's your reputation, your silence, or your myth. And you'll never need to justify your power. Even your enemies will respect you because they'll fear misunderstanding you. Influence is about emotional geometry. Every reaction you trigger must serve a purpose. The goal isn't to be liked, it's to be remembered, respected, and strategically feared. A good man wants approval. A powerful man wants control. The key is to appear both when it suits you. Perception is your currency and consistency is your vault. Guard both. Don't tarnish your image by explaining yourself to those beneath your vision. Every time you explain, you dilute mystery. Every time you overreact, you reveal insecurity. People must never see you chase, only choose. Learn to use your silence as punctuation, your presence as persuasion. Remember, leadership isn't about shouting orders. It's about embodying inevitability. The aura of power is worth more than its raw form, because aura influences without effort. Once you master perception, you won't need to demand respect. It will be given automatically. The room will shift. When you enter, the tone will change when you speak. That is the true essence of influence. Control without resistance. Dominance without declaration. Persuasion without pleading. The Machiavellian doesn't chase power. He designs belief. Control perception and you control the world. Comment: I master perception. Therefore, I master power. Number 7. The discipline of isolation. Isolation is not loneliness. It is the crucible of transformation. Every great strategist, every architect of empires, every sovereign mind has walked through the desert of solitude and emerged sharper, colder, and more complete. The world fears being alone because it exposes them to their own reflection. But you must crave it. Isolation strips away illusion. It shows you who you are when no one is watching, when no validation exists, when no applause can distract you. In silence, your demons speak, your weaknesses scream, and your potential whispers. Listen to that whisper. It is the sound of evolution. Most men drown it with noise, with comfort, with company that dilutes their fire. But the Machiavellian man knows that to build a fortress of the mind, you must first demolish dependency. Isolation teaches self-sufficiency, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It reveals how little you need and how much. Strength hides beneath stillness. You cannot command others until you first master yourself, and you cannot master yourself if you are constantly escaping your solitude. Alone, you learn to think without interference, to plan without distortion, to feel without weakness. Your solitude becomes a weapon, your thoughts an army. Society teaches dependence on approval, on company, on routine, because dependency breeds predictability, but power thrives in unpredictability. The man who can stand alone is a man who cannot be controlled. When you are comfortable in your own company, no rejection can wound you, no absence can break you, no betrayal can surprise you. Isolation teaches detachment not from people but from need. And once need dies, power is born. Use your solitude to sharpen your focus, build your skills, construct your empire, elevate your knowledge. Withdraw from noise long enough to hear the truth of your ambition. Do not fear being misunderstood. Obscurity is protection for those in preparation. The world will only understand you once your results speak, and by then, explanation becomes unnecessary. In isolation, pain becomes teacher, silence becomes mentor, and boredom becomes discipline. Every hour spent alone is a brick in the fortress of your mind. Others chase distraction. You chase evolution. The man who endures isolation evolves beyond dependence, beyond fear, beyond mediocrity. It is within those dark, quiet hours that your vision crystallizes and your resolve solidifies. You stop chasing success and start becoming inevitable. Isolation hardens you without making you bitter. It sharpens empathy without softening. Strength. It trains you to be both detached and deliberate, both patient and precise. When you re-emerge, the world won't recognize you because you'll move differently, think differently, and see differently. The noise that once tempted you will sound childish. The people who once influenced you will seem transparent. Isolation builds emotional X-ray vision. You begin to see through everything and everyone. You'll no longer crave company, you'll curate it. You'll no longer seek validation, you'll attract it unconsciously. You'll walk into rooms not needing attention, but commanding it naturally. That's the paradox of isolation. It makes you so whole that the world begins to orbit your presence. Do not run from your solitude. Expand within it. Let it cleanse you of weakness and clothe you in discipline. Remember, the man who is never alone is never truly free. Solitude is the training ground for the unstoppable, the sanctuary for the calculating, and the forge for the powerful. When you master being alone, you become dangerous because no one can take from you what you no longer depend on. Comment, my isolation is my evolution. Number 8. The ruthless art of self-mastery. Mastery begins where excuses end. Most men live as slaves to impulse, chained to distraction, governed by comfort. They chase motivation like addicts, waiting for emotion to bless them with action. But the Machiavellian man understands that mastery is built on discipline, not desire. It's forged in the hours no one sees, in the moments when your mind screams to quit and you whisper back, continue. Self-mastery is the highest form of power because it eliminates dependency not just on others but on moods, validation, and convenience. You must become the architect of your own behavior, designing yourself with the same precision you would design an empire. Every decision, every habit, every thought is either sharpening your blade or dulling it. The world belongs to those who are consistent when others are chaotic, focused when others are distracted, disciplined when others are emotional. Self-mastery is not about perfection. It's about control. Control over time, over energy, over reaction. You must treat your willpower as your most sacred resource, because once it's wasted on trivial battles, none remains for the war that matters. Every day you are at war with yourself, your laziness, your doubt, your hunger for comfort. The weak man seeks peace through surrender. The strong man finds peace through domination of the self. The discipline to act when it's inconvenient is what builds the kind of power that can't be faked. You must learn to command your mind as a king commands his army through order, through repetition, through unwavering expectation. Do not rely on emotion. Emotions are traitors. They rise and fall like tides. But your mission must remain fixed like stone. Mastery requires sacrifice. You will lose sleep, friends, comfort, and sometimes even your sanity. But in return, you gain something far greater: control over your own existence. When you can force yourself to do what must be done, regardless of how you feel, you become a weapon in a world of spectators. Routine becomes your religion, consistency your crown. There is no luck in mastery, only precision repeated until it becomes identity. Stop saying you'll try. Kings don't try, they decide. Stop waiting for the right moment. It doesn't exist. Every moment is right if your will is strong enough. You must carve your habits with surgical precision. Rise early, not because it's fashionable, but because discipline must. Begin before distraction wakes. Train your body not for vanity, but for dominance. Educate your mind not for applause, but for control. The more you master yourself, the less the world can manipulate you. That is the ultimate power. To be untouchable, not because you're feared, but because you're immovable. Self-mastery also means emotional sovereignty. Never let anger dictate your words. Never let sadness slow your mission. Never let pleasure steal your focus. You must be your own ruler, your own law, your own executioner. If your body disobeys, punish it through effort. If your mind wanders, discipline it through silence. Over time, you will transform pain into energy, fatigue into clarity, and temptation into focus. This is how legends are made, not through talent, but through relentless repetition of control. Every day you choose discipline over distraction. You ascend higher in the hierarchy of power. The world cannot enslave a man who rules himself completely. He becomes a force, calm, deliberate, inevitable. Mastery isn't about how much you achieve, but how little can disturb you while achieving it. When you master yourself, you control your destiny. When you control your destiny, you become the storm that others fear, the standard they cannot reach. So stop negotiating with your weakness. Stop waiting for the perfect alignment of comfort and motivation. Decide that from this moment you will be the commander of your own existence. Because only through mastery can freedom exist, and only through freedom can true power emerge. Comment, I command myself. Therefore, I control my destiny. Number 9, the power of ruthless adaptation. Adaptation is the highest expression of intelligence and the ultimate weapon of the powerful. The world changes faster than loyalty, faster than emotion, faster than belief. And those who fail to adapt become relics forgotten by the same system they refuse to understand. The Machiavellian man bends with the storm yet never breaks. He does not resist change. He studies it, anticipates it, and uses it as fuel. The weak cling to comfort and tradition. The strong reinvent themselves without hesitation. Adaptation is not betrayal. It is survival through evolution. You must be willing to discard old versions of yourself the moment they stop serving your mission. Sentimentality is death. Evolution demands detachment. Every situation, every betrayal, every loss is information. Adapt to it and you gain leverage. Refuse to adapt and you dissolve into irrelevance. The powerful mind remains fluid, flexible like water, yet forceful enough to carve stone. You must learn to shift strategies without losing your core principles. Change your tactics, not your foundation. Adaptation is about precision, knowing when to move, when to strike, when to vanish. The world rewards those who adjust faster than others can react. In power, rigidity is fragility. Flexibility is dominance. The Machiavellian man never resists the game. He rewrites its rules quietly while others complain. When the crowd moves left, he studies why. When it moves right, he moves above. Adaptation allows him to exploit momentum, not fight it. You must become unpredictable, constantly evolving beyond the comprehension of your enemies. Reinvention keeps you dangerous. The moment people think they've understood you, you must become someone new. Adaptation is not only about reacting, it's about engineering the environment so it bends to your advantage. Manipulate trends, control narratives, dictate tempo. Be the cause of change, not its victim. The world is a battlefield of relevance, and adaptation is the shield that keeps you immortal. You must detach from pride, for pride is the enemy of transformation. Pride whispers, stay the same, while evolution demands, become more. The powerful man kills his old self daily to make room for the next version. He upgrades relentlessly, consuming knowledge, sharpening instincts, mastering technologies, and refining demeanor. Adaptation also means embracing discomfort because change is pain disguised as progress. When you learn to see chaos as opportunity, you stop fearing instability. The masses drown in uncertainty. The Machiavellian man thrives in it. He understands that control doesn't come from resisting unpredictability. It comes from anticipating it. Be ruthless with your growth, flexible in your methods, and absolute in your will. Remember, the predator that adapts fastest dominates every ecosystem. Adaptation isn't optional, it's law. Evolve your thinking, your habits, your networks, your approach. Never cling to outdated versions of success. Power belongs to those who can reinvent faster than the world can label them. So become fluid, elusive, untouchable. Adapt not once, but endlessly. Comment, I evolve faster than the world. Can define me. Number X. The ascension to untouchable power. Power is not inherited. It is constructed piece by piece through silence, pain, discipline, and the ruthless mastery of self. The Machiavellian man does not seek to be liked. He seeks to be inevitable. He is not driven by emotion, but by purpose, not guided by hope, but by precision. To become untouchable, you must first destroy every part of yourself that is fragile. Kill the version of you that hesitates, that seeks validation, that fears judgment. Replace it with one who moves with clarity, who speaks with authority, who acts with finality. Power respects decisiveness. The uncertain are devoured by the confident. The untouchable man is not loud because he doesn't need to prove anything. His results echo louder than his voice ever could. He no longer fights for attention. He commands it by existing. This level of power is not granted through luck or lineage. It's earned through daily warfare with weakness. Every temptation resisted, every emotion mastered, every failure dissected. These are the bricks of your empire. You must carry yourself as if you already are the outcome you seek. Walk with precision, speak with control, and move like a man who fears nothing but stagnation. 2. Ascend. You must detach from the noise of mediocrity. Their opinions, their doubts, their gossip, irrelevant. The world bends to the will of those too focused to flinch. The untouchable are not heartless. They are simply disciplined enough to place logic above sympathy and mission above emotion. When you reach this level, you stop reacting. You start orchestrating. You read energy. You predict behavior. You guide outcomes. You become the invisible architect of every room you enter. Your power is no longer physical. It's psychological. It's presence, precision, patience. It's the aura of inevitability, the kind that forces others to adjust their tone, posture, and pace when you walk in. That is true dominance, not aggression, but influence. The goal is not to conquer others. It's to conquer yourself so completely that others cannot touch you, even when they try. You become immune to manipulation, immune to chaos, immune to failure, because every storm only strengthens you. This is ascension, the transformation from man to force. Remember this, power doesn't come from chasing the world. It comes from mastering the world within. You are the weapon. You are the empire. You are the storm they can never contain. Comment. I am untouchable because I mastered myself. And if this monologue awakened something within you, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.